Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of The Curious Card, where we look at fun and interesting cards and see what kinds of decks we can make with them on PTCGO. Now, last week we looked at a Primal Groudon deck, and just because I was thinking about using it for Worlds. And so I thought we would look at the other deck that I am thinking of for Worlds. There are actually three decks that I'm considering for Worlds, but the other one, the third one is Excadrill, which we looked at a couple videos ago anyway. This one we've also kind of looked at as well already. In the first episode of The Curious Card, we looked at Mega Kangaskhan with Aromatisse, and that's going to be what we're looking at today again, kind of. Except the focus of this deck is a little different. We are going to be focusing on M-Diancie instead, which is actually a promo Mega. So if you finish this video and decide you want to try this out, you can actually go to Target and buy the M-Diancie set, though I wouldn't really recommend it because it's like $40, something silly. I would recommend just going online, eBay or Verbank Mart, and just picking up a 2-2 line of this yourself. So let's look at M-Diancie. She's a fairy type Mega. We've only got, I think, two of those right now, Mega Gardevoir and M-Diancie. M-Diancie has only 190 HP, which I believe is the lowest of any Mega that has been released so far. The others have at least 210. Now, the reason for this low HP is because the attack is pretty darn good. Diamond Force for Fairy Colorless does 100 damage, which is a little underwhelming, but during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to each of your Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX. That's really good. Think about how well those decks did at Nationals that had those anti-EX tactics, things like Hippowdon and Kling Klang. This is going to be the same idea. For one turn, after you use Diamond Force, all of your Pokemon are safe from Pokemon EX attacks. So if your opponent is playing, Seismitoad and they Quaking Punch you, that won't do damage. If they Evil Ball you, that won't do damage. If they have a Landorus EX and they Hammerhead maybe your Diancie and then try to hit something on your bench, that also won't work. It prevents damage done to all of your Pokemon from your opponent's Pokemon EX. And the other nice thing is the effect is on M-Diancie. So if you Diamond Force your opponent's active Pokemon and they retreat into something else that is an EX and that attacks you, that also won't do damage because the effect is on Diancie. Just because your opponent retreats doesn't mean they can do damage to you. Now, there's a couple of weaknesses to this strategy. One of them is there's this little parentheses text right here. If this Pokemon is no longer your active Pokemon, this effect ends. What that means is Lysander is a big problem for this deck. So your opponent sees that they can't do damage to M-Diancie, they're just going to Lysander something on your bench. However, the fundamental problem with that is if you Lysander around M-Diancie, then you can't really hit M-Diancie anymore. She's out of the active, unless like you've got some big sniping deck or something. So, in that way, M-Diancie is really hard to get rid of. They can choose other targets and start attacking them, but M-Diancie herself is kind of hard to get rid of if you have an EX-based deck. And the other weakness of the attack is, of course, there are decks that do not heavily rely on EX Pokemon. So things like Night March, for instance, we do not have a good response in M-Diancie for that. 190 HP is laughably easy for Night March to reach. However, we do still have a line of Mega Kangaskhan here, partly just for Night March. Not that they can't reach 230, but it's much more difficult for them to do that. They have to get all of their Night Marchers except one, plus a Muscle Band to get a knockout on this, or I guess all but two and a Silver Bangle. So Mega Kangaskhan is going to be in here just to deal with those Pokemon that are not EX and that can deal a lot of damage. So Night March, also Virizion Genesect. Unfortunately, G-Booster does go through Diamond Force, so our EX of choice in that matchup is going to be Mega Kangaskhan. Also against things like Flareon, Mega Kangaskhan, anything that is non-EX and that can or isn't Virizion Genesect, or that is Virizion Genesect, that can reach this 190 marker on M-Diancie, we're going to have to get out Mega Kangaskhan to deal with. So that's the idea here. And just to go over the strategy of any Aromatisse deck, Aromatisse has the ability Fairy Transfer, which lets you move around your fairy energies as often as you like during your turn. So basically, you have an infinite number of energy switches. What we're going to do here is, if our opponent does get up something that damages Mega Diancie or Mega Kangaskhan, what we're going to do is use Fairy Transfer to move all the energy off of that Mega Pokemon, play Max Potion on the damaged Pokemon to get rid of all the damage. Usually we would have to get rid of all the energy on that Pokemon, but we moved all the energy off, so we don't lose any energy in playing Max Potion. If you do that, you can then move all the energy back to that Pokemon and keep on attacking like nothing happened. So we have 4 Max Potion because that's really, really good, and I just do that in all of my fairy decks. So aside from the Megas, we have a few tech Pokemon that serve special roles. First of them is Xerneas, the baby one. We have 2 of that because we want to start him. It's pretty unlikely even if with just 2, but he also has the ability, the attack Geomancy to choose 2 of your bench Pokemon and search your deck for a fairy energy for each of them. Really, really strong starting attack. He also has the attack, almost equally important, of Rainbow Spear, which is an underwhelming 100 for 3 energy, and then you have to discard an energy. But he is our only feasible way to deal with Safeguard Pokemon. So decks like Domfan that use Spinning Turn into those Safeguard Pokemon, we need Xerneas to get rid of those for us. Also things like Suicune, which are commonly used in, what's that deck? In Mega Kyogre decks, Primal Kyogre decks. Often those decks will play 2 Suicunes, so we need at least 2 Xerneas to counteract that. We also have Big Xerneas EX with X-Blast. That's going to be his main attack. He has Breakthrough for 60 and 32 a bench, but we're mainly going to be using the X-Blast attack because that is really good against Stage 2 decks. So if we run into something like an Empoleon deck, or if we need to take a knockout on like a Blastoise in the Archie's Blastoise deck, he's going to be our main man for that. That 140 marker is really hard for most of the other Pokemon in our deck to reach, so he's good for just that raw damage. He can also reuse X-Blast over and over again. X-Blast says you can't use X-Blast during the next turn if you used it this turn. If we have Keldeo, which we do, we can rush in and retreat and then use X-Blast again. So it's nice to be able to chain that attack if we need to, as we often will against Empoleon. He's also really good against anything that's weak to Fairy. There's not many decks that are. It's really just Dragon nowadays that's weak to Fairy. But Mega Latios and Latios EX are both weak to Fairy, so is good against that. And also the Dragon Mega Rayquaza is weak to Fairy. So either of those we have an advantage over. We can just abuse the weakness with Xerneas EX. Keldeo, incidentally, is not just here for the resetting of X-Blast. That would be very specific. He is mostly in here to get rid of status conditions. So things like Hypnotoxic Laser is a big one. If our opponent uses, what's that attack? Chrono Wind with Dialga EX, we're going to want to reset that with Keldeo as well. Really just resetting our Pokemon, getting them out of sleep, anything annoying like that. And then the final Pokemon, which I think is run in pretty much any Fairy deck, is going to be Mewtwo EX. Mewtwo has the attack X-Ball, which is 20 damage times enough energy on Mewtwo, and the Pokemon Mewtwo's attacking. So at the end of the game, say you've got like 7 energy on your field, and you just want to do a massive X-Ball to finish off the game, you can just put up Mewtwo, Fairy transfer all the energy to Mewtwo, and X-Ball for your last prize or 2. So that's all the Pokemon. This is a very Pokemon-driven deck. Has how many Pokemon we have in here? 17 Pokemon. That's a lot higher than a lot of decks. So this is going to be a very Pokemon-driven deck. The trainers, in contrast, are pretty simple, and we have very thick lines of most of them. Supporter line is 4 Juniper, 4 N, 2 Chorus, and 3 VS Seeker, which is pretty thick, but we really need maximum consistency in here. We have 4 Pokemon Fan Club, which is great for this kind of toolbox response kind of deck. What you put down on your first turn is going to depend on what you see your opponent opening. So if you are staring down a Seismitoad EX or Yveltal EX, you're going to want a Fan Club immediately for Diancie EX, so you can start blocking those EX Pokemon. If you open against like a Joltik or something, or Mew even, you're going to know that you're going against Night March. You're going to need to set up Mega Kangaskhan. If you open against a Piplup, you're going to want to get Xerneas EX. If you open against Safeguarder, you know at some point anyway you're going to need to get baby Xerneas. And then of course also you're always going to want to make sure you have a Spritzy down turn 1. So Fan Club, very versatile card in here. The only annoying thing about it is you want it maybe turn 1, but then after that you never want to see it again. So after that it becomes Ultra Ball fodder. Speaking of which, we do have 3 Ultra Ball used to get our evolutions in play usually. We could run Evo Soda, but I think Evo Soda is good for decks that run a way to search it, and also which we don't really have other than computer search, which would be really silly. But also decks that have really precious resources that they can't waste. Our deck is not like that. We can waste certain cards. We have a lot of extra cards that we don't need every game. I think what tends to happen towards the end of games is that your hand will be just clogged with Pokemon that you can't play. You're going to choose your Pokemon that you need that game, and then the rest of the game you're going to be wishing you didn't have so many Pokemon in your deck because you're going to want to get rid of them and get towards your max potion or your energies. So, Ultra Ball in the late game, say you're using M-Diancie for a game and you draw into your Mega Kangaskhan. You're not going to set up 2 Megas in a game usually, so just Ultra Ball away your Kangaskhan line. Ultra Ball away your late game Pokemon fan clubs if you don't need them. That's going to be the idea there. We have 2 Lysander, pretty standard. The only kind of gimmicky card we have in here is Weakness Policy. One of our worst matchups is going to be the now very popular and possibly best deck, I'd say, for Worlds, is going to be Metal Rayquaza. And we have a lot of problems against that deck, because that deck runs Heatran, which M-Diancie is weak to. We do have a Steel weakness. So Heatran is not an EX, and he is Steel type, and he does 130 damage, so we're not going to have a good time against that with M-Diancie. So you might think, oh, we'll just put up Mega Kangaskhan, which for a lot of metal decks we would do if it's just pure metal. But then there's Mega Rayquaza, which can easily do 240 damage. So because of Bronzong, either of those cards can come out of anywhere with energy acceleration that turn, and we will lose our Pokemon. And as you might know, the biggest weakness of a Fairy deck is if the Pokemon with the energy goes down. We don't have energy acceleration, we have energy manipulation. So if we lose all our energy on our active Pokemon, then we are in some trouble. So we have this weakness policy because if we put the weakness policy on M-Diancie, then M-Diancie can deal with most of the stuff in that deck. Heatran no longer would hit for weakness, and Megaphone isn't a particularly common card to play, so it's probably safe once you put it on. Weakness policy can also be nice if we have it turn 1 and we want to stop like a head ringer going on to our Diancie. We're up against Toad. And also gives you, interestingly, it gives you a bit of an edge in the Mewtwo war. If your opponent's playing Mewtwo and you're playing Mewtwo, you can slap weakness policy on your Mewtwo and give yourself an edge there. We have 4 Fairy Garden, which you could run Darkrai in here if you wanted, and Rainbow Energy. You can also move Rainbows with Aromatisse because of the wording on the ability. But I don't like being vulnerable to Enhanced Hammer, and also Darkrai, there's a lot of things that turn off abilities nowadays. Just think of the last video I made with Wobbuffet. It's going to be hard to not run into some of those cards in the tournament. So Wobbuffet, Silent Lab, Garbodor, those are all stopped by those all stop Darkrai. So I like Fairy Garden as a more consistent. Maybe not more consistent. It's a less risky way, I think, even if it takes up a lot of space in your deck. Which I don't think I said what it does. It just gives all your Pokemon with Fairy Energy on them for your retreat. And then Computer Searches are A-Spec. Now with Trump card gone, you could, I suppose, justify Dazzling Machine. I think that's what I ran in my old version. I'm not sure anymore. But Computer Search, I think, is the most... you need that kind of consistency in your deck. I think that's what most decks have switched to nowadays. And yeah, so that's the deck. Let's go have a look at it on PTCGO. Alrighty, up against Parasite Eve. I don't know why I emphasize the Eve on that, because it's the V that needs to be emphasized. We will choose the wrong thing. I assume we chose Tails, because that's what we do. And we start with Xerneas, which is great, but we also start with no energy, which is less than great. And we are up against a Gerudogon. I do not know what this could be. It could be some kind of theme deck-esque deck, or it could be something nasty. There is a Tierno. I think I know which one it is. Alrighty, going up against Tathans. Tathans. We picked the wrong thing, so our opponent will opt to go first. We do get a Xerneas start along with a fan club. That is great. The only thing we are lacking is an actual draw supporter, but hopefully we can draw into that in the near future. We won't bench the Xerneas until we know what we're up against. There's a Keldeo. Not sure what that means. There's a laser. It means something I don't like. And we'll see. This could be a Seismitoad list. These are in Lysander in the discard pile. All we see now is a Shaman. Still a mystery deck. I'm guessing it's Seismitoad. Seismitoad is one of the only decks that still plays laser. So we still don't know exactly what it is, but I'm going to guess it's some kind of EX deck. So we're going to go for M-Diancie, and right away we draw that Chorus. That'll be great in a few turns. So we will Fan Club for Spritzy, as always, and the Diancie is going to be our other Pokemon of choice here. We'll bench those. Unfortunately, we are asleep. I didn't notice that, so we can't Geomancy this turn. That's frustrating. We'll go and attach the weakness policy. If this is Seismitoad, there's a good chance that they do play Headringer. So we'll go ahead and just slap energy on Diancie and pass here. And hopefully we can wake up, and we do. Yet to see what exactly my opponent is playing. All we see is a Laser and Lysander in the discard pile. Both signature cards of Toad. Oh, there's a fighting energy, so this could be some kind of fighting deck. But regardless, our opponent doesn't seem to have much. We'll go ahead and evolve to Aromatisse. Now, I'd like to Chorus and not give my opponent a new hand, but honestly, we kind of need to get the ball rolling here. We'll go ahead and play the in, and then I think we'll go ahead and just Mega Evolve here. We'll go ahead and throw down another energy, and Ultra Ball away, in, and go ahead and do Fairy Garden? I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and do that. And we'll grab the Mega Diancie and go ahead and Mega Evolve. And maybe now that my opponent has a new hand, we'll get to see what they are actually playing. I'm guessing it's some kind of fighting deck. Uh-oh, it's a Hippowdon. Okay, so I've never actually played against this before, but I assume it's not much fun. So there's a Hippowdon. Hippowdon has the attack Desert Resistance? Something like that. And it says that after you use the attack, the EX Pokemon cannot attack this Pokemon. So it's like Mega Diancie. The difference is Hippowdon himself is not an EX Pokemon. So it means that Diancie can't hurt him, but he can hurt us. So we are in some trouble on this. I think Squeaky just did a video on this recently, so looks like some kind of mirror kind of version of what he did. There's a couple Hippowdon down already. And looks like, is this Xerneas dead? Now our Xerneas is really actually pretty important. So he's going to wake up, that's good. And we're going to need to clear him of damage if we want to continue. So looks like we will have to in on this. We're going to need pretty good in hand here. We need a Fairy Garden first of all. And then we need another energy. Energy should be the easy part. Getting another Fairy Garden off of an in, probably not great odds. We'll see. Go in. Oh, yeah, we didn't get it. So what are we going to do here? What are we going to do? Well, I say let's go ahead and Ultra Ball away these two. We have another Aromatisse. Is Keldeo in here? Keldeo is not. That is really frustrating. We need Keldeo to get out of these poison situations. We'll go ahead and grab... No, we are out of Spritzies too. How did this happen? We'll have to grab, I guess, the other Xerneas. And hope nothing horrible happens. So yeah, this Xerneas is going to take damage. We're only going to use one max potion, but Xerneas, baby Xerneas, is actually going to be the key to this game. He's the only card we have that can do reasonable damage to Hippowdon. So yeah, let's actually go ahead and Geomancy. This Xerneas is not in danger of a knockout next turn, so we might as well get a Geomancy off, even though we are poisoned. The next turn, we'll see if our opponent... He can't attack with a Hippowdon next turn, so if we get a Fairy Garden, we can actually X-Blast the one he puts out, but it looks like he's preparing the back one, which is probably smart. If we top deck a Fairy Garden, we can Lysander the back one, and that works just as well, but again, that involves top decking a Fairy Garden, which we only have 3 of left in the deck. More Computer Search would work. So yes, it looks like this active Hippowdon is going to be a sacrifice that our opponent is giving up. And we are going to be Junipering and looking for a Fairy Garden. We're going to want to take a knockout on this active Hippowdon using an EX, because we're going to want to save our Xerneas for the end of the game. Has our opponent used any other Verbanks? No? Alright, but 3 lasers are gone, so that's great. Alright, yeah, he's going to be sacrificing this Hippowdon, what do you call this thing? Hippopotas? That's amazing. I love that. Let's... I think we need to be aggressive. We need to Juniper. There's the Fairy Garden. There's the energy. Let's take a knockout. Let's see. We'll do it with... Mega Diancie. Why? No. Let's do it with... I assume we will be attacked next turn. So I'm going to say we attack with... Actually, we could be a little bit clever here. Let's actually set up a knockout on that back Hippowdon. We can retreat here, and then we will not take a knockout on the active yet. We're actually going to be clever, and if I do say so myself, we're going to use Breakthrough and hit the back Hippowdon. This will set up a knockout onto Hippowdon from our baby Xerneas. He only has 130 HP, so if we can Rainbow Spirit when he comes active, we're going to be in great shape. Of course, I think our opponent has only used 1 Stadium. I'm sure he plays more, so we're going to be ready for that. But we probably play more Stadium cards just because we play 4. See what our opponent has planned for us. If he doesn't retreat this Hippowdon, I say we'll do the same thing. Knock out this Hippowdon with Xerneas, and then put 30 more on this Hippowdon, which will put us in great shape to one-hit KO both of them with a baby Xerneas. Or, I suppose we could actually go ahead and Lysander this other one. I think we have a Lysander in the discard pile. We have Via Seeker here, and we can just bring up the other Hippowdon and knock it out with, I guess, Mega Diancie, something like that. Our opponent is looking for... a supporter in its discard pile. It's going to get Chorus for 7. There's Verbank back, and is there a laser to go with it? If not, we're in pretty good shape. Oh, wait, I forgot there's a Keldeo here. Never mind. Did that have a Floatstone on it before? I don't remember it having one. Oh, well. But anyway, we are still going to be able to get this knockout. We're going to look for a Fairy Garden. Not the end of the world. If we don't find it, we'll just have to give up a couple energies to manually retreat. But we'll play Chorus, and we're going to look for that now. Didn't get it. That's all right. There's nothing we really want to Ultra Ball for. Let's go ahead and retreat manually to Baby Xerneas. And then transfer the energy. We'll go ahead and Max Potion this other Xerneas, because I'm sure we're going to need him later. And we'll go ahead and Rainbow Spear for the knockout. Yeah, we got our Keldeo. All right. Why did we need that? Oh, yeah, because this deck has lasers. So now, what are we going to do? We don't have Fairy Garden still. We need to be taking some knockouts on these other Hippowdons before they start coming up. So if we can find a Fairy Garden, that would be fantastic. If not, I'm not sure what we'll do. I'm sure he's going to start powering up this Hippowdon, and I'd love to put 30 on it to set it up for a knockout. I'm not sure that's going to be an option here, though, because we don't have an easy way to retreat. I guess we can chorus again. There's a toad. Oh, he's going the toad route. All right. All right. Well, now I guess we're going to have to throw up M-Diancie and put up some kind of fight against that. And uh-oh, I didn't foresee this. We don't have... I should have played the VS Seeker, I suppose. I was not anticipating toad. Even though I knew it was in here, I did not do anything about it. Foolish of me. Now, he's down to 11 cards. I wonder if he has enough anything to power up the, anything. Let's see. He hasn't used many, I guess. But, yeah, I'm sure there's still plenty in here. So, what do we do? Let's... Fan Club, get Kangaskhan out of the deck. And then what? What? We'll throw down Keldeo in case we need him later. If he will go down right now, that would be great. Would appreciate it, Keldeo, if you would bench yourself as I asked you to. Go. Right here. I have a spot for you. Thank you. And like I said, we can't retreat because we don't have Fairy Garden, and I don't fancy doing 50 damage to this Seismitoad with Secret Sword. If he wants a knockout next turn, he's going to have to use his last laser, which I'm alright with. Let's go ahead and start draining our deck of some more energy, because we need to get that down. Energy, so we have 3 left after this, that's plenty. 1 Fairy Garden, 2 Fairy Garden still in deck. And a lot of other good stuff, so hopefully we can draw one of these other good things next turn. If he does get the laser on this Xerneas, we will go ahead and promote the M-Diancie and start Diamond Forcing. He may respond with a Hippowdon, but we really kind of need to take care of this Toad. That's what Diancie's in here for. Our opponent may be considering a Lysander, I don't know. Of course, Aromatisse is kind of a target now that now that she's on the bench. And oh, there's an N. We will take that and hope we get a Fairy Garden. We do! Nice. Okay, we will drop that down. Retreat. Get out of here. And then M-Diancie, you are up. We're going to move all this energy to Keldeo for safekeeping. And we'll go ahead and go with the Diamond Force. Diamond Force. For 100 damage. Look at those sparkles. And Seismitoad cannot do damage to M-Diancie next turn. However, Hippowdon unfortunately can. So that might be what we see this turn, because there is still that Keldeo back there who is going to do nasty things in the Russian retreat. I guess not that nasty, but he's going to bring up... This Hippowdon's going to come up, and then what are we going to do here? No muscle band on it yet, but our baby Xerneas are going to be in severe danger next turn. Alright, so we see this Xerneas coming up, and looks like Hippowdon is going to be taking him out. Now the good news is I don't see any immediate way for him to take out this other Xerneas, unless he uses his other attack, which will damage himself, and he's vulnerable to EXs on the next turn. So we'll go and promote this Xerneas, and we really don't have much else to do here but Rainbow Spear. Now, what do? We're going to go ahead and want a max potion here, but I will wait on that. Let's go ahead and Fairy Transfer up to the Xerneas. We don't really have enough energy to attack after this, so we might go ahead and play a Chorus in a little bit. Let's go ahead and play the Chorus now. Get a fresh hand. Alright, so there's another energy. That's what we wanted. And, alright, yeah. We'll just have to go ahead and do a Rainbow Spear. We're going to save the max potion in case he doesn't knock out the Xerneas, which he might do, but there's really no way for him to do it without using the second attack, Double Edge, and once he's invested that much energy, I'm going to say he's probably out of commission for using Hippowdons, and after that, we will just M-Diancie our way to victory. That is the plan. See a Muscle Band, so he's at 100 right now. Another strong energy would do 120. I guess he could do a laser. That would do it. That would be very disappointing. But the good news is, I should have thought of this earlier, but we can actually Lysander him to the bench and then finish him off with a breakthrough. Him going to the bench would actually end that effect on him. Similar to Diancie, a Lysander will get around him and we can snipe for the final KO. Now let's see what he's got here. He needs a laser and another strong energy, and that will be, well, actually, let me see. I'm thinking of how we could do this with Resistance Desert. If he uses Double Edge, then yes, we're definitely gone. But Resistance Desert is currently doing 80, 100. He needs Strong Energy Laser or Verbank Laser to be a knockout. Our opponent seems to be timing out. Oh, don't do that. This is such a good game. No, don't do it. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, okay, good. Good. I didn't want to lose this game. See an Ultra Ball from my opponent. Maybe getting another Hippowdon, but it looks like he's failed the search. Is he out of Hippowdons? Ah, and here comes the Quaking Punch, but this opens up the opportunity that we wanted to have. Looks like he wanted to set up that resistance thingy for later, but we're going to have to say no to that. We will retreat, and then this Hippowdon's in for a nasty surprise. Boom, boom, boom. We'll go ahead and Fan Club, because I don't want to draw that ever again. And we will go for the breakthrough and snipe the Hippowdon for 30. And down he goes. Alright, things are looking good here. I don't think this Toad can knock us out next turn. The Hippowdon probably can. If he does have an Hippowdon, which I don't think so, because he failed that Ultra Ball earlier. Now, he's just Quaking Punches, and we will retreat to our safer M-Diancie EX and finish this Toad off. We will move all this energy over here for safekeeping, and then go Diamond Force for 100, 2 prizes. Looks like we get that Spritzy we were missing. We had 2 Spritzies prized this game. It's pretty gross. I think we did anyway. Yeah, we did. Now here comes the Hippowdon, who I think is about to... Oh, yes! Rolling Tackle! Got him, coach! Alright, do we have a way? Yes, I think we do. I think we can win this turn. Let's go ahead... Oh, alright, no. So we would have gone ahead and just Lysandered the Shaman and X-Blasted it. That would have done the game. I think we had another VS Seeker or Lysander left. But our opponent, seeing the writing on the wall, and I guess he just wanted to attack with Hippowdon. I'm just going to call it Hippowdon, which I'm sure is completely wrong. That little basic guy. But yeah, that was actually a really interesting game. Was not expecting to use Xerneas that much, but that's why we have 2 of him to deal with things like Hippowdon. I guess that's why we have 2 of him. I just kind of like having the opportunity to start with him. But yeah, that worked out pretty well. So we're gonna, I'm gonna look for one more video here. Stick with us, and we'll have another game going soon. Alright, got another game against Mapman. 2-2-2-2-2-2-1. Really just 1-1, but there's a lot of 2s. And we will go second again. Hopefully we can start off with Xerneas. Gnome 2 M-Diancie is the opposite of what we want. Spritzy, you are pretty much the opposite of what we want. Bull. But we will start with you. And up against the Shaman. The ambiguous Shaman. What could this be? There's an Ultra Ball with a Silent Lab. Huh. And fighting. Okay. That looks like not much fun. There's an N. I was going to say I don't mind that, but now I really mind it. There's a Fan Club. Okay. Okay, it's not all bad. Fan Club for M-Diancie, and... man, do we even bother with the Spritzy right now? Let's get Xerneas because he's more stable. How many Spritzies? Okay, so we don't have any Spritzies prized. Do we have any Megas prize? Alright, M-Diancie. Alright. That works for me. Let's bench these 2 and bench M-Diancie, and I don't think we're just going to go ahead and focus on M-Diancie. We're going to just try to build her up as fast as we can and hope we can get a Diamond Force off. This the Spritzy isn't going to make it, I'm afraid. Yep, there's an in. I'll take that. Super scoop up. All right. That's a heads. Shame, we could have evolved this thing. Oh well, we'll bench 2 next turn and hopefully we'll be in good shape. Drop this down. We are able to get the M-Diancie out this turn. Hopefully we will not die before that happens. We'll do double Spritzy here. That's going to be a hard Ultra Ball choice. Ooh. Yeah, it will be. Alright, we'll get both of these. Then, have we thrown away any Aromatisse? No, just a Spritzy. And then we'll energy here. Ultra Balls is risky. Let's throw away Colress and Aromatisse for M-Diancie, and hopefully we won't be Lysandered and Lands Judgmented, if that's the past tense of that word, for knockout. Our opponent does have a very large hand, so this is very possible, sadly. Yeah, Land's Judgment, I think, will probably be enough if he discards all the energy. That would be 170 currently. That is already enough. There's a Zubat. I'm glad he didn't get those down earlier, because those can be a huge pain. Next turn, we'll have the option to either in or computer search for maybe a Juniper. There's a Lysander. And he's going to in us. Oh, no, he's not. Okay, so he's going to try to go for the double knockout. Well, he's going to get some damage on the Spritzy. We'll promote the M-Diancie, and there's a Fairy Garden. That's nice. And we'll hope for something like an energy. Oh my gosh, we missed the energy. That is horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Oh, can we come back from this? I'm not sure we can. We'll, I'll Max Potion the Spritzy, and we will retreat into Baby Xerneas, but, ooh, this is a sticky situation. We'll put down Xerneas EX in case of an escape rope, and we'll pass. We're going to have to draw something better. Hopefully our opponent didn't draw much of anything. Muscle Band. If he draws a Golbat, we're in trouble. Oh, there's Computer Search, so I'm sure he's going to get what he's looking for here. Yep, there's a Shaman. That's terrible. Ooh, terrible, terrible, terrible. What will our opponent do? Will he take out the Spritzy? I think he might. Or will he take out Diancie? No, he's just going to go for the Spritzy. And 30 more on the Diancie. We need to draw something. There's the energy we missed last turn. That's terrible. We are all out of Spritzys at this point. Just Diancie versus the world. So what's on this thing? Muscle Band. Let's deal with this Hawlucha. We need to deal with it at some point. Take a prize. And we'll be able to retreat if he Lysanders something next turn. But all our Pokemon are currently safe from the from Land's Judge. Well, Hammerhead anyway. If he Lysanders, they're not so safe. So we see 2 VS Seeker gone and Lysander. These Lysander cards are what we're going to be worried about and looking for. Next turn we can in if we want to put our opponent down to a lower hand size. And we might actually start setting up a bench Pokemon for. I'm sure M-Diancie will go down eventually just from the bats, and I'm sure there are more Hawluchas coming down. Our opponent probably reading what Diamond Force does. He hasn't put up a bat yet, so I assume that's the only reason he would do that. Because otherwise he should just immediately put up the thing with free retreat. But yeah, this is a rough spot. To recap, all Spritzys are down. 1, 2, 3. Landorus can do this, and that was without any help from the bats. That was terrifying. So that's... Sometimes I want to run less than 11 energy, because sometimes we just, like, towards the end of the game, we have too much energy. But I think this is the reason I don't ever actually do that, because at the beginning of the game, when you really need that energy, you really got to find it quickly. That turn cost us quite a bit. Just getting that extra 100 damage on the Landorus would have been amazing. I'm not sure. I feel like my opponent might be having some technical problems here because he still hasn't promoted the obvious Zubat choice. But our plan now is going to be attached to the Xerneas EX probably and start powering that up. Xerneas EX, great against Stage 2 Pokemon, like I mentioned, can take out the the Crobats, if they are promoted, because I think he'll start having to use the Crobats to actually attack with, which is not ideal for him and not ideal for me either, because I can't one-hit KO those, and he's not doing as much damage, but he will be doing enough to eventually knock me out. We no longer have our max potion tricks, because we don't have any Spritzies, which means no Aromatis, which means no moving the energies, which means no free max potions. Matman, what you doing? Must be some kind of technical problem. That or this is just, he just has never seen a M-Diancie and he just has no idea what to do. He's just like stunned. Like, what did he just do? Diamond Force. He's already down to 3 prizes, so if he just goes the Lysander route, he could just take out the baby Xerneas and the big Xerneas, and then we would lose. Usually, benching stuff kind of becomes important later in these kind of games, because you don't want him to Lysander up everything, just Lysander around M-Diancie until he wins. Don't think this game is going to work out. Oh, you're not even going to let me concede. Wow, you are terrible. All right, versus Yakapaseba. He will choose probably heads, which means he's right, which means we will go second. Hopefully we can start with that Xerneas again, and we do, and an energy. That's great, and 2 Aromatis. Yum, 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 yum. Oh, there's Pumpkaboo. All right, code Pumpkaboo. Let's get out the Kangaskhan. This is always a tough battle here, because even though Mega Kangaskhan has a ton of HP, it's oftentimes not enough HP, especially against a turn 1 double battle compressor. Whoa. Hopefully my opponent just has like no supporters. It's just all battle compressors. Now we have a fan club. We're definitely going to need to get a Kangaskhan down here. And then a Spritzy. I wish we could get 2 Spritzy. I would love to top deck a Spritzy this next turn. Alright, so already turn 1, 6 Night Marchers in discard pile, 7. No, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 already, and a shame, and then, my goodness, this is not going anywhere pretty. We're going to have to hope he's got a Night Marcher prized. No, he doesn't, but he does have 2 DCE. Dimension Valley. This is looking grim. We have a good start, but, man, not this good. There are 2 Night Marchers down, so it's going to be hard for him to take a knockout on Mega Kangaskhan. We'll see if he's in here. Mega Kangaskhan. Oh no. Yeah, that's terrible. Really, Kangaskhan? Versus GLC 2814. I'm not imagining it. I play this guy all the time. Alright. I call Tails. I will go second, and we start with Spritzy. Spritzy, you are so unwanted right now, especially against Seismitoad. Alright, Seismitoad's going to start out with a water. But he's going first, so it doesn't matter. He won't miss the Quaking Punch because he can't Quaking Punch turn 1 anyway. We're going to have to... Man, we have a M-Diancie in hand, so I don't want a Juniper. We're going to have to in and hope for a basic. There's a Shaman from my opponent and a Laser. It's a Tail, so at least we can maybe retreat out of this. Would love to top deck a Fan Club, and he will just go ahead and pass. Get another Spritzy, that's not too bad. What do we do? Let's go ahead and burn the Max Potion, because we can't use it anyway. Let's see, 30... That could actually end up hurting us. 30... 10, 30... No, it won't. Okay, let's go ahead and attach to the bench. And we will in. And... Whoa. Okay. I guess it's not so bad. Let's go ahead and pass here. Next turn, we will be able to get an Aromatisse out. And a Diancie out. And we have 2 M-Diancies in our hand. So we can get the ball rolling, but it's going to be slow. We can actually, it might be best to get... Oh, Crushing Hammer. No, stop it. All right, Tails. Alright, there's a DCE. There's an in. No, that wasn't the worst hand. Alright, so we're going to have to promote Spritzy, and we draw a Knot. Wow, that's actually a pretty bad hand. We'll have to throw down Fairy Garden, energy on the Kangaskhan, and Kangaskhan is going to have to save us. He's going to have to triple draw us out of this because we are Colressing for 2. Into not a terrible hand, actually, but still. Alright, go triple draw. There's an Aromatisse. If we can get that out next turn, that would be cool. Our opponent may not give us a chance, though. Here comes the Laser. Alright, so he's not going to immediately... Oh, Grenade Hammer? No. Okay, no Grenade Hammer yet. We do wake up, so we can triple draw again if we so choose. That Weakness Policy won't do anything. Go ahead and put up Aromatisse. We'll get Xerneas. And, ooh, this is sticky. 130. The odds of him having Lysander and Muscle Band hopefully aren't too high. We'll go ahead and throw down these 2, since Xerneas is good for stalling, amongst other things. And we'll put down this on Diancie, and, what do we do here? Not sure how much good triple draw will do us, but I feel like we have to do something with this Kangaskhan, so we'll just try that. Alright, we get 2 more energy. And this Kangaskhan will be knocked out next turn, I'm sure. Oh, there's an in. Okay, that's not a great hand. So Garbodor is in play. There's no tool on it yet, so Garbotoxin is not yet in play. My opponent needs even a Muscle Band wouldn't be quite a knockout. So this Xern, unless he uses Grenade Hammer, we're actually alright. Though we do not have a good hand. There's a Muscle Band. Also a Quaking Punch. So we will get knocked out going into the next turn unless we Mega Evolve. What? Next level plays. What do we do? I suppose we should rush in and rescue our brave friend. We'll go ahead and use Fan Club. Maybe grab a second Spritzy. Maybe let's get a Mewtwo. Nah, let's get Baby Xerneas. We'll throw down the Spritzy. Put this on, doesn't really matter. Put it on Keldeo. Rush in. And Fairy Transfer to... Man, I think we should probably just spread out all our energy. Put 2 on that guy. Another on the Keldeo. Why not? And then let's just go for it. Mega Evolve. Oh, actually, that was probably an error, because now Garbotoxin could come down, and then we're in some major trouble. Looks like another Toad. There's an in. Oh, there's Floatstone. Yep. Getting bit in the butt here by my own toupee, or whatever the expression is. Alright, yikes. We will have to Juniper into 3 Fairy Garden. What a silly thing to have. And then we'll retreat into the Xerneas, Geomancy, onto these two bad boys. I think probably just actually going to get 1 energy here. Yeah, no need to put more than that. And then our hand is really pretty bad. We have the VS Seeker, but the VS Seeker won't do anything under Quaking Punch unless our opponent decides to be ambitious and use Grenade Hammer. However, he does not. We will Fan Club again. Like I said earlier, Fan Club is great at the beginning, and then later in the game you wish you never played it ever. So I will Geomancy again, put it on Sky and Keldeo, but we'll just do 1 here, because our opponent does play hammers, and we don't want to find ourselves in a bad position. We also don't have M-Diancie yet, which is weird. So we've gotten through a lot of cards, only 16 left. We do play 2 M-Diancie, and we can't find any of them, it seems. Another Crushing Hammer Tails, that's good at least. There's Verbank, we are so ready to counter that. There's an in, I'll take that. Alright, we still don't have, man. Where are the M-Diancies? Alright, go Colress M-Diancie. No! No. Nasty. Okay, let's retreat to Keldeo. And we'll have to pass, because this... we cannot find our M-Diancie. And if he at any point decides to Lysander, we are in a lot of trouble. But we do see a Shadow Tribe for a laser. We will have to... what do? We'll probably put this on M-Diancie in case we get, what's it called? Head Ringered or Crushing Hammered. And then we will have to in. And there, now we get 2 of them. They've been traveling in pairs this whole game. Who do we put up? I don't want to lose the Keldeo yet. Let's throw up Xerneas, because I know he has the laser, and I know he'll use it. So let's just do Mega Evolve, and hopefully we're in a spot to actually start doing stuff. There's a Crushing Hammer, another Tails. We've gotten super lucky with that, though we haven't gotten lucky with much else. Colress, big Colress for my opponent. Does he have another Verbank? He's used 2 so far. Probably has a 3rd. There's a Head Ringer. This is what I feared. Throw up M-Diancie. And, let's see, how many energy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 8. We should have 3 left. One of them at least is probably prized. Let's go in Juniper, because I don't want anything in this hand. And we will, I'm going to hang on to this energy in case we get Lysandered next turn. And we'll just go ahead and Diamond Force. It's a shame that we cannot Lysander that Garbodor here. There's the Lysander here, so we'll see what that goes on to. Probably the Keldeo. And yeah, we are going to make some trouble because we don't have an in. And our opponent is just going to do nasty things to the Mega Kangaskhan that we cannot save. Wish we had an in. The computer search you are not in. So we will have to Diamond Force. That's really the only thing we can do here, and hope our opponent doesn't have a Lysander. How many VS Seeker? Only 2? Feels like about 1 million have been played. Yep. Does he have the laser? Yep. That's game. Well, that was appalling. Alright, up against Old Boy Trainer. And it looks like a Kyogre coin. Could it be a Kyogre deck? That's always interesting. Looks like we will go second again. And a pretty darn good hand. Wow, that is one of the best I've ever seen. We get Xerneas to start. We have Diancie and Spritzee to bench. We'll go ahead and bench them. I don't want to lose them just yet. What are we up against? A Nidoran deck. Could this be the Omega Barrier Nidoqueen? I hope it is. That could actually be pretty interesting. If that's the case, we will probably have to fan club for Mewtwo and another Spritzy. Tierno, the ultimate sign that the deck you're playing is terrible. Get this over with. I'm coming. Alrighty, going up against J-Fink. Looks like a dragon deck. This could be fun. Those are usually weak to Fairy. We will get to go first this game. Spritzy and Keldeo. Let's start with Spritzy, and then if things look bad, we will drop Keldeo and rush in. We have an in to start off. We'll probably have to play that immediately. Let's see, this could be the Dragon Rayquaza list. I don't think that plays anything other than Shaman and Dragon cards. So, or it is Latios, which could be very bad because that can attack very quickly. We will drop Keldeo, and do we drop Fairy Garden? Let's go ahead and drop Fairy Garden. Energy on Keldeo, and we'll go in. Ooh, nice. Let's see, we get M-Diancie, Xerneas, we'll rush in, and well, we won't bench Kangaskhan just yet. I'm not sure why we would need him. And we'll retreat to Xerneas. Next turn, we're going to end. We're going to be looking for the Mega Diancie. Going to be looking for an Aromatisse. Now, I don't know if this is the Donk version of this deck or the Snipe version. We'll have to see. But it looks like we're about to see a fast raid for 40. Not much else from my opponent. We will play in. No Mega Diancie. Get that Kangaskhan back. Hello, Kangaskhan. And we'll drop another Xerneas, why not? and we will start using M-Diancie. Start getting powered up here. Now we end. Maybe our opponent has something better to work with now. Alright, so we see the Sycamore and a double dragon going on. I'm gonna. Oh no, it's Noivern. I hate this thing. I think this ability is rigged. Like I've almost never flip. I never flip tails against this. It's always heads. Always stops the damage. But we do have the fairy weakness here, so we do have an advantage against the Latios. And we can knock it out this turn, I believe. Let's Do we end here? Yeah, let's be safe. Let's go ahead and end, save ourselves these supporters, and there we go. Let's drop Aromatisse 1, Aromatisse 2, and, might as well go ahead and get the knockout on this Latios. Let's retreat to the other Xerneas. Drop these, and we have actually filled up our bench. That was probably not smart. And we'll just go ahead and do a Rainbow Spear for 200 with the weakness. Now we are going to be fretting about this little guy coming up. He can't attack this turn because it's a 3 energy requirement. But he does have that nasty ability, Echolocation, which means that if we try to attack him, the attack will basically, it's on a coin flip if it does anything. It's like that Cinccino with a smooth coat. You flip a coin, and if heads, they flip a coin. If heads, then that damage is prevented. Now, so far, our opponent has not had the best hands. He's already discarded one Noivern. He needs another one immediately, because I'm going to be gunning for that thing if he doesn't evolve it, because like I said, I think that ability is rigged. Oh, network connection. Wow. Thanks. Alright, versus Cyberboo. Uh-oh, I hope that doesn't mean Pumpkaboo, because Night March is a struggle. We will choose Tails, and we are correct, so we will go first. And start with the Big Xerneas, and 2 evolutions that we cannot use yet. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to end this hand away, unless we get Fan Club, and that would be great. And it's Snivy. I see. I got paired against a noob. I'm not gonna post that.
Is that what I make food?
If you do it quietly, yeah, I just finished it though. You can eat food. Mm-hmm.
How did you tell it was new?
Because his deck was terrible.
Wait, why do I have to be quietly if you're done?
I'm not done.
Oh.
Trying to. All right, going up against the Kreischild. The Kreischild. I wonder if he's German. Should ask him if he's German. And the game does not seem to want to ask us who's going first. I hope they ask us. All right. They will get tails. Does that mean we're going first? Yes, we are. All right, we'll start with Zerna. Nice start. I think, once again, the only thing we are lacking is an actual draw sport. Hopefully we will get that soonish. We are going first, so we can't use Geomancy turn 1. But starting with Xerneas is still our best bet because we care the least about him. That sounds terrible, but alright, looks like this is going to be bats with Seismitoads. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to Fan Club for Spritzy, for M-Diancie, and then what? Is Mega M-Diancie in here is the question. Okay, there's one, just one, so she's going to be hard to find this game. And she is kind of the key to the match. Oh, no, okay, they're both here. They're just spread out. So we'll grab these two, drop them down. We're going to put a weakness policy on the M-Diancie. Not that our opponent is playing steel, but we don't want to be head-ringered, so I'm going to do that. We'll drop this here. I don't want to put it on Xerneas. The Xerneas might actually go down really quickly, so we'll just wait on that and pass. Next turn we'll evolve to Aromatisse. The good thing about this deck is there is no Garbodor, so we do have access to Fairy Transfer for the whole game. Assuming we can get it up and assuming those Zubats don't devour us. Alright, there's Verbank and Quaking Punch, and alright, so we will, alright, there's another Energy. We'll evolve to Aromatisse. Now we have Fairy Transfer online. Let's in and look for a Mega M-Diancie. No. Okay. We do get Fairy Garden, but that's really all. And I would like to Geomancy. Should we Geomancy? Yeah, I think it's worth it. Let's go ahead and Geomancy. Even though this Xerneas might get knocked out next turn. I guess the other question is, do we put down the Fairy Garden? I'm not sure we do. Because I want to be able to retreat next turn. That's the big deal. We're going to be able to get another attacker off next turn. We need to be able to retreat him. So we will let this Xerneas go down if a laser comes down, which it probably will. Opponent with the Golbat, probably going to bite the M-Diancie, yes. And, oh, I didn't think about the consequences of the weakness policy. We could actually, oh look, looks like he's not going to use the laser. Our opponent may not have much of a hand. So we're going to Fan Club here. So our Colress next turn is stronger. And then we need some good fighter here that we can actually use to put pressure on our opponent. Let's go with Big Xerneas. He's probably the generic big guy. Attached to Xerneas, we'll go ahead and put down the Fairy Garden, retreat, and throw up Xerneas, and 3 energy on him. And then where's the other energy going to go? Let's put it on M-Diancie, and go for the breakthrough. 60, and we'll go ahead and hit. Who do we hit? We'll go ahead and throw up the... We'll hit the Manectric for 30. That seems good. That way we can X-Blast it for another 140 if he decides to try to go after the M-Diancie here. Looks like we will be going to sleep. That's the opposite of what we want. And, okay, the Xerneas got eaten up. I don't think... I didn't have an energy on him. That's good. And my opponent just exploded that turn. Wow, he was really kind of playing down his hand there. He junipered, benched 2 more bats, got another head on his heads-on super scoop up. We're asleep, and we are not anymore. That's good. We will evolve to an Aromatisse, and we will chorus again this turn and hope for that Mega Diancie. There she is. Beautiful. And we'll drop a Spritzy, I think, just in case. And as a matter of fact, we might actually just throw the Spritzy active because, well, that's not really an option either because we need to, the energy will be gone. But I don't think he's playing Energy Denial, so we might actually just go ahead and retreat the Xerneas. Yeah, I don't fancy him taking more damage. And we'll retreat to the Spritzy that we do not care about. We will Fairy Transfer. We'll put 1 on each of these Aromatisse, try to make the Diancie a little less tempting to go after, and we'll Mega Evolve. Next turn we can Juniper, but we need to go ahead and get the get our attack up. Looks like he's going to go after this Xerneas EX, which I'm not sure I support, unless he's going to try to knock it out right now. Otherwise, probably not a great idea. Even then, but questionable. Alright, so he just takes down the Spritzy. We have a very conservative opponent, it looks like. So now we're going to be looking for, there's another energy, we're going to be looking for a Fairy Garden to get rid of this Verbank, because our opponent's going to be using Bats and Verbank to try to stack up damage, and we can't let him get to us like that. Alright, so there is the Fairy Garden. I'll take that down. And then next turn, we're going to be looking for a Keldeo EX, I think. Our opponent can't knock us out next turn, so we'll just stack all this energy on Diancie. And Diamond Force for not quite a knockout, but we're getting there. Alright, there's the laser. We are asleep, so we desperately need to find Keldeo. And not great odds of that either. Really need him to in us. That would be nice. And there's Golbat coming down. Probably going to bite... Did he bite active? There's a scoop up. That's really frustrating. He's gotten double scoop up heads. Yes. And there's... Oh, Crobat. Looks like he's going to be attacking with Crobat, which is not smart because he's breaking the item lock. We will remind him of this in just a moment. Alright, so yeah, for future reference... Oh, okay, so we drew Keldeo, so it's all good. Now this game should be ours. We're going to Fairy Transfer and make him pay for what he just tried. Max Potion, and we'll go ahead and rush in, retreat, and that gets rid of the poison, and now he is on the clock. Matter of fact, we might go ahead and just annoy him even more and let's Max Potion the Xerneas, why not? And, yeah, let's go and just Juniper. Why not? We don't need any of this stuff. Drop another energy. Soon we're going to be able to do enough damage with Mewtwo to actually get some knockouts. That'll be cool. And then otherwise, yeah, let's go ahead and just use Diamond Force. No reason to hurry this along. So our opponent definitely rocked him back on his heels on that. He's going to need to... I can't do damage with EXs. He's going to need to do lasers, but now we have immunity from that because of Keldeo. So he is in quite the pickle. He's going to need to do lots of bat damage, which it looks like that might be what he's about to do. There's a Golbat. I think we'll evolve to Crobat. We have another Max Potion if necessary, which I do not mind using at all. Eventually he has to run out of resources. 1, 2, 3, 3 laser. It feels like he's used a million. There's a Muscle Band, and I will happily attack into this Crobat again if he really insists. Let's go ahead and Fairy Shine. Now we actually draw a VS Seeker, so we have the option to just go after. So, you know, we might be a little bit greedy here. We might use M-Diancie EX here, because we definitely have enough energy now on board to do that. There's 1, 2. Yeah, we would just need one more energy to Diamond Force, even if this M-Diancie somehow gets knocked out. So let's retreat, and let's let him know we are done with his bat shenanigans. Move all these to Diancie, and then off you go. X-Blast, 140. Like I said, M-Diancie EX very good at dealing with Stage 2 Pokemon. That includes Crobat. So now my opponent does have an opportunity to attack with an EX. Now, does he have Head Ringers? He's discarded one. Does he have another? If he has another, we may actually be in a bit of trouble, because he can Head Ringer our M-Diancie EX. And then, alright, there's Lysander. Alright, he's going to take an opportunity to do some damage, but again, I'm sure he's not happy about this. We do have the Max Potion, and we're going to go ahead and just X-Blast this Manectric. And before we do that, we're going to Max Potion Diancie, X-Blast, 140, 2 prizes. I would not be surprised if our opponent scoops very soon. This is definitely how the deck's supposed to work. This is the toolbox deck. We shift around our Pokemon if we need to. Mewtwo's on the bench. We're waiting for a big final KO if we need to. Big Colress from my opponent. Golbat coming down. We'll probably bite, as he's going to bite the active. It's really unclear, yeah, who he would need to bite here. And leaves it active. That means we have another chance with Mega Diancie. If my computer doesn't shut down, there we go. Retreat. And now, yeah, we have Fairy Garden. So, was there a Lysander in here? There's not, or else I would VS Seeker for it and get ready for next turn. Even though we have one already, we don't want to be. I want to be able to KO whatever we want next turn. So let's move these energies around and go for the. That's Ultra Ball, because we don't need these other cards. Get Mega Kangaskhan so we're more protected from in, and we'll Diamond Force for 100. 2 prizes left. If we think we have enough, well, do we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, well, 140, so not quite enough to get a knockout with Mewtwo, unless he puts a double colorless on one of these EXs. So here comes Manectric. What is he going to do? There's a Colress, so again, no attack. There's, yeah, that means knockout, DCE on the Manectric. So overrun for 0 and 0. Alright, so that's going to be the end of the game. I'm sure he'll see it very soon. Retreat to Mewtwo, and alright, load him up, boys. Transfer. I'm not even going to count. Mewtwo, how much energy do you have? You have 8, and then Metric has 2. So that's the game. I like that game. That was a good way to show you how all of the pieces of the deck function. I guess we didn't get to use Mega Kangaskhan, but again, he's really only for specific matchups, and if you want to see how he works, you can watch the first episode of The Curious Card. But we got to see Keldeo rush in and save us from poison. We got to see Xerneas taking out the Stage 2s, Diancie frustrating our opponent, and Mewtwo taking the game there. So, and of course, Aromatisse piloting it all. So, that's another deck I'm considering for Worlds. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. I will certainly have some more for y'all soon. I am Calvin from The Curious Card, and I will see y'all in the next video.